Hello, Neuse Little Podcast listeners. Allow me a moment to promote our new official Neuse Little Theater merchandise. This can be bought at any show we have, any show in the 50th season that you come see. You can go up to the merch table and ask the man or lady, and you can get your official NLT merch. Here's what we have. We have hats, toboggans, hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, and we even have big and tall sizes. Just ask the person and they'll set you right up. We also have blankets, pins, keychain, stickers, tumblers, frosted pint glass, coffee mug, aluminum water bottle, backpack, and tote bags, etc. We have it all. Be sure to check out our special anniversary merchandise, including our t-shirt featuring all the shows of our historic 50th season. Thank you, and thanks for listening. Hello, and welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. This is an audio presentation featuring the backstage antics and stories from your favorite log cabin located on the banks of the Neuse River in Smithfield, North Carolina. Please help us celebrate our 50th anniversary season by purchasing tickets on our website, neuselittletheater.org. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the various podcast platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Now please, enjoy the show. Like I said, we're gonna keep it laid back. I kind of wanted to split it up into good guys and bad guys. I know Glenda's not technically bad, but the argument
There are theories
that arguments could be made, and she doesn't come up. I don't know Wicked, but I know she's not. She's more three-dimensional than that.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Love that show.
Yeah, it was in D, as you know, probably know, it was at DPAC last year, and I
saw it.
I had a chance to go for free with a really good and I told Tam to take somebody else. Because for me, I was just like, I'll sit there and like it, I'll appreciate it, but you take Annabeth, she'll love it. So you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was great.
It was great. I saw it at the Kennedy Center, and I saw it in New York City. It's a great show.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So obscure, so for an obscure little show.
And if I got a chance to see it again, I'd probably see it again. But the other side of it is, it's sort of like Hamilton. I'm not gonna go out of my way to see it another time.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
I love how the discourse has turned on Hamilton. I don't know what was the moment that we decided we didn't like Hamilton anymore.
I know, like my kids at school. Even 3 years ago, that's all they would talk about.
Yeah.
And now I mentioned it today, and they were just like,
I think it got too popular.
Right.
It just was. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Again, and Hamilton is above this, but honestly, Phantom of the Opera, I think, is highly overrated. I know I have to go to bat with that for a lot of people, but I'm like, I've seen it. I love the music, don't get me wrong. But the show, I'm like, Yeah.
Was it because it was too overhyped?
I think people are like, it's so wonderful. I love it. It's perfect. It's like, no, it's not.
Let me quickly introduce the podcast, and we'll get back to our conversation. Welcome to Neuse Little Podcast. I'm Matt Gore. That's me to Toole. That new music you just heard in the intro is our very own Kathi Nixon, who is here with us tonight. So thank you a lot for that, Kathi. We'll get into some more specifics on that in just a minute. Also, I am joined by Ava Wilson, and she is playing Glenda. Kathi is playing the Wicked Witch. And I posted armed guards. I had new locks installed, but still somehow Larry managed to get on this podcast. This is your fourth one, I think.
Fourth one.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad to have you on here. You're playing the Oz, so welcome back to the podcast, Larry.
Oh, good to be here.
All right, what were we saying? Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, and if you hear the rush of wind in the microphone, it's because Larry is sitting right in front of the air conditioner, and I feel bad if I have to turn it off. We turned it off for the last one, but it's too hot.
Yes. Yeah, we're recording 2 episodes today. This is the second show of 2, and this is definitely the more laid back of the 2. We had on the last show, we of course had the Tin Man, Lion, Scarecrow, and Dorothy, and we all had a good time. But I know all you guys, and also you guys haven't, from what I've heard, haven't had a heck of a lot of interaction. I know you might be the exception, Glenda, but we Kathy, you haven't had a heck of a lot of interaction with
No,
the cast.
they
have
don't,
you?
and the kids are still scared of me. So,
But isn't that a good thing?
yeah, I guess I tried to high five them Monday night, and like half of them wouldn't. They like one of them ran back inside. So
She
I'm
gets
like,
to take out of her
"Hey, All
aggression."
right.
But do you get how I know you know this role? I know you know obviously how famous it is, but do you know the can of worms you've opened now? You're going to be known as the Wicked Witch for a long time. A lot of
I've taught school for 33 years. I've been the Wicked Witch for a long time.
I was gonna say school's back in session. I'm pretty sure she's just funneling that towards.
yes, use that.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz will be presented by Neuse Little Theater, and it will be at the Paul A. Johnston Auditorium in Johnston Community College, on September 27th and 28th at 8 p.m. and then a 3 o'clock matinee on Sunday on September 29th. 3 shows this time, but don't worry, there's space available. But you need to get those tickets now because they are assigned. So if you want the good seats, you need to go ahead and go online and get those tickets. So Ava.
Yes.
Now, I know, Glenda, I wanted to split this podcast up into good guys and bad guys, with the good guys being first and you guys being the bad guys. Now, I know technically Glenda is not known as a bad witch, but there are theories that she is kind of nefarious. How do you like playing Glenda? Tell me about it.
I love playing Glinda. It's so much fun. So, fun fact, I just finished playing Ursula in The Little Mermaid, and I started Glinda rehearsals while I was doing that show. And so that was a big switch, doing a villain like that during the daytime and then going to Wizard of Oz rehearsal and doing like Glinda. But it's been so much fun. I love playing her because she's so nice, and I love working with the Munchkins. They're all so sweet, and they're all just so happy to be there, so it's great being with them.
That's great. Now, did Glinda hire a hitman to take out the Wicked Witch?
I can neither confirm nor deny, but probably not.
Now, what else did Glinda do, Mita, you mentioned before?
She made a small child schlep through dangerous areas, and she could have sent her home at any point, but no, she allowed her to trek across the country deep into enemy territory, have fireballs thrown at her, death around every corner, wandering through a hidden forest, and all she had to do was go, yeah, you just say you want to go home.
Man, I like this Glinda
Last
part.
night
I
we
like
did that scene, and the Scarecrow says, "Why didn't you tell her before?" And Sean went, "Yeah, why didn't you?" And it was so funny.
And you could technically, I don't know what the bubble looks like. I don't know what you guys have planned for that, but technically it's like the eagle in Lord of the Rings. Like, why can't we just use that bubble? Why can't we just float around on that? Have you been in a main stage show before this?
I did Willy Wonka last year.
Gotcha. Were you in Willy Wonka?
I was Matilda, which is like a featured kid, and
Okay.
Candyman, and I was an Oompa Loompa.
Gotcha.
Nice.
I hear most of the Oompa Loompas have packed up their bags and now have jobs as munchkins. Yes.
She was one of the older Oompa Loompas.
Gotcha.
Like her
Child Wrangler.
You're a little tall to be an Oompa Loompa. Kathy.
Yeah.
Now, you did the new music, and for our listeners who also attended the Cannons, it's the same music that was in the video, and we thank you very much for doing that,
Oh, it was fun.
Kathy.
Yeah.
And I wanted a little it's the 50th anniversary, and we're doing a lot of facelifts to the building and to our season and to the website. It's time for a little facelift to the podcast as well. So we're putting in new music. Don't worry, we always love my friend Cody Walker, who did the original music, and his music is available on Spotify. Thank you, Cody. But we wanted to make the transition to Kathy here because she's a very talented musician. Pound for pound, Kathy might be the most talented person I know. I want to talk about your origins, Kathy. I know you were in some shows in the past, before my time, even. And so, what was your first show?
First show that I did here was the Mousetrap.
Oh, really? And you played?
Yeah. I was Molly Ralston, so I was, I was had started teaching, and I did that play when I was in high school, and I saw that they were doing it here, so it was kind of, I wanted to do it again. That's why I came out for it.
Kathy is the theater arts director at Corinth Holders High School, and she's been doing that for...
Well, I've been teaching for 33 years. Corinth Holders has been open for about 13 years.
Gotcha. Did you have like a period where you probably went off to raise children and then came back, as people are wont to do around here?
Yeah.
What was your first show back?
The first show back, let's see, Witness for the Prosecution.
Right.
That's when I came back with Rich.
Yes,
Yeah.
your husband, Rich. And he has acted in many shows here, performed, I should say. And he is a very talented actor in his own right. What made you want to come out for Wizard of Oz? I know it's that's a stupid question because these are iconic roles.
Yeah.
These are like the most iconic roles, and you snagged the Wicked Witch.
Yeah. Well, of course, the Wicked Witch. That's the only thing that I wanted to do, really. I do sing, but I don't sing. I'm not really a musical theater singer.
Well, what type of singer are you?
I sing like bluegrass and old country and stuff like that, and I play when I sing. So that's what I did for my audition. I brought my guitar because I have a really hard time singing unless I'm playing because I've done it for so long. So I actually sang the Wicked Witch song from The Wiz.
Oh, okay.
Ain't nobody, I don't even remember what it was, but I played it and sang it. And I really, I told Sean, I put on my form, I really don't want to sing and dance. I just want to be evil.
So when you got the role of the Wicked Witch, you had like a period of transition to where you actually started rehearsals. So you're kind of have you worked at the auditorium yet?
I have been a couple times, but it's just, the Wicked Witch just kind of appears, says her lines, disappears. So she doesn't interact with anybody other than just screaming at them, and then she's gone. So I don't really talk to anybody.
Did you have a cackle ready? Have you worked on your cackle at all?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Give us a little preview. Come on, just a little preview. Good. That sent shivers up my spine.
Right.
I was scared of Wizard of Oz as a child.
Same. Always, and I was really scared of Miss Gulch. That was my big.
Yeah.
For some reason, just her and the bicycle and the whole.
The bicycle, when she's riding it in the hurricane, is just so unsettling. It's just like, that's almost as scary as when she's in witch form for me.
Well, I was going to say, and the other thing is, you run into a Miss Gulch every so often. You don't really usually run into the Wicked Witch because, that's a character, but Mrs. Gulches are around.
Yeah, I've met some Mrs. Gulches. Piggybacking on that, what was your experience with the movie, Ava? You've seen the movie,
Growing
right?
up. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You were giving me a blank stare. I'm like, oh, God, you haven't seen the movie?
No, I've seen it. I love The Wizard of Oz. I loved the movie. I was scared of the Wicked Witch. We would watch it as a family, and I would leave and go to the other room, especially towards the end of the movie when she came up. But I've always loved The Wizard of Oz.
So when you came here to audition, did you have your sights set on Glinda?
I was really happy to do, I was thinking about playing Dorothy or Glinda or kind of whatever.
I thought you had a good shot as Dorothy, but I didn't know, I was surprised. I didn't know Dorothy was 10 years old until I looked at the pictures. And I was just like, oh, wow, she's young. And we had a bunch
She's
of...
very sweet, though.
Hannah's
a really nice girl.
Hannah was great on the podcast that we just recorded. She was great. She had probably the most mature answers out of everyone in the crew. while we BS, she just sat there quietly as all the jokes went over her head. So it was very nice meeting Hannah and her nice mother as well. She was in Willy Wonka as well.
Yes.
All right. So now you have probably rehearsed the most out of the three actors here, and you've probably had the most one-on-one with Sean, and you've worked with him as a director before. But talk a little bit more about it. We're at another scale here. The show is pretty big. It's pretty big. A lot of people are going to see this show. Talk about how the scale has changed or transitioning from the auditorium.
Well, not only is it a bigger show, but like you said, like the auditorium is like 10 times bigger. Like Sean kept saying, he was like, for dance rehearsals, we started here. He was like, just so you know, like you're going to be able to spread out a lot more at JCC. And when we walked in, all the little kids, all the munchkins, like their faces lit up. They were like, this is a really big stage. And we were like, yeah, but Sean, he's a really great director. He's been able to take on a big show like this really well. So.
Oh, I don't doubt it. He knows JCC very well, and he's worked there many years before. And it's going to be a really big show for NLT. Get those tickets now, people. I know there's a lot of seats in JCC, but a lot of eyeballs in Johnston County are going to be on this show at the end of September. Now, Larry, so The Wizard.
Yes.
He doesn't sing, right?
He does not sing, no.
Do you play also like the con man?
Professor Marvel.
Okay, talk about... I my memory fails when it comes to Professor Marvel, so talk about him.
Oh, Professor Marvel, he's a bit of a con man. con artist, but he's not really bad. He's just an old vaudevillian type,
Yeah, shyster.
shyster, and I'm gonna, talk to the crystal ball, and he's
Snake oil
actually really a very nice man. He convinces Dorothy to go home and not run away. Unfortunately, the tornado comes at the time she's going home, but he.
Spoiler.
Spoiler for
Spoiler
a
alert. Ruined it.
90-year-old movie.
Who has not seen the movie?
Yeah,
Who does not know?
you have a very wizardy look, Larry.
I have a very wizardy look. Yes,
You have a very wizardy voice
Meaning
as
I'm
well.
old and fat.
No,
So,
no.
I would like to
You
point out,
also have white hair.
yes. Okay. All right. Okay.
he also has a spectacular pair of shoes.
What?
Yeah, I've seen those shoes.
I do. Yes. The wizard is going to be very green.
I think
And-
they should use those instead of the ruby slippers to go home. They're
I
good.
think so. Yeah. They're going to be great under the lights.
There's some
They're-
pimp shoes, man. I've seen them.
Yes.
With your green pimp cane. So, have you worked with your costume at all, or any type of makeup at all, or?
I've got the makeup. I haven't tried it yet. I don't want to.
Don't
yet.
worry.
Don't want to yet.
Nothing
Yeah.
bad has ever happened from someone trying on makeup at Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I know.
No, nothing bad has ever happened.
I do have I've got a Miss Gulch dress,
Okay,
and I have a witch costume.
I'm going out on a limb.
Yeah.
You probably like playing Miss Gulch more than you do the witch.
Well, I do like Miss Gulch, and it's interesting. I've noticed. I've listened to a lot of it, and with the voice, and they're kind of like opposites. Because Miss Gulch will talk, and then she'll only go up like once when she's talking. So like, is that you, Henry Gale? So she'll go up one time, but the witch stays up the whole time, like, and then she might, So they're kind of like opposites of each other with their voice. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. Now, you are directing a show in our 50th season. It is actually the next show. It is entitled Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yeah.
Now, ever since you showed an interest in directing, or you were my assistant director on the most overqualified assistant director ever on The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, but ever since I've had an inkling that you were wanting to direct, I'm like, well, that's a no-brainer to me. You have experience. You're a theater arts teacher. Why wouldn't we do that? So, are you excited about your first official directorial venture here at NLT?
I'm excited, but I just keep thinking it's just going to be very different than what I'm used to. Because I'm like, I'm the boss of everything, and what I say goes, and I don't, I just don't take a lot of crap, and I'm just kind of like, no, sit down, no, we're not doing that. So I keep, Rich keeps reminding me, he's like, you can't do what you usually do.
I've worked with these adults. That's the attitude you need.
Yeah.
Come in going, sit down, shut up, we're doing this right
Yeah.
now. I'm tired of listening to you.
Yeah, I don't let the kid, sometimes the kids will say, what if I do this? And I'll be like, yeah, there's a reason I don't, But it's not like I never listen to them, but I'm pretty much just like, you need to go over there and sit down and stop talking. But I'm still thinking, I'm going to have to be a little nicer, I
You
think.
do get a little bit of, you're able to, because you're working with a little older, they've been on stage a little more a lot of times. You do get people who might have you can kind of coordinate a little bit just to, like, they'll go, what if I do this? Or can I try this?
Yeah.
And that works. But yeah, most of our grown-ups are usually fairly well behaved.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that Ava is now our official social media czar for Neuse Little Theater. The Facebook page and Instagram and TikTok page are blowing up with your reels and all the other stuff that whatever alternate name for TikTok they have. So tell us a little bit about that, Ava.
I've really enjoyed doing it. I like social media and stuff. I helped run this social media for like my middle school arts program, and my director there, Miss Bottomley, always jokes. She was like, "I think you have a future in social media. You really like doing this stuff." But it's been a lot of fun, and the kids get really into it. They'll come up to me, because we made a few for Frozen before I even did at the summer camp, before I started doing it like for the news page. So they remembered that, and the little kids would come up to me and be like, "Can we do that one where we shake our hands in character? Can we do that TikTok where we do blah, blah, blah?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And so it was good.
You want to be an actress, right? And you told me last time, I remember
Yes.
you saying that you want to join a
National tour.
national tour. Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. Now, obviously, I have every hope, and I don't think you'll have. Let me put it this way: I hope that happens for you. Mm-hmm. I know, but the world is sometimes tough. I don't know what your future holds, Ava, but it will involve people. It will. You will involve talking to people.
I love to yap, so I hope so.
In my job, I've experienced this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy.
I always do.
I know you do. Being able to get up and talk in front of people in the future is going to be a tangible skill that a lot of people don't have. You think
That's exactly right. It's been a lot worse since COVID, obviously. It's better now. But like I had a kid the first day was Monday, and he came up to me and he was just like, I can't. He's in my beginning class, and I talked to him about if you guys really don't think you can do this, you should. I mean, now you should probably look for something else if you don't think you can actually talk in front of anybody, because you will have to do that. I don't want to discourage you, but don't wait, because if you wait 2 weeks and then say, now I can't do it, they're not going to let you come out, right? And he came up to me and said, I'm a little nervous, but just talking to him, I was like, this is going to be good for you. So some of them, I think, they don't need to do it because they can't talk at all. But some of them, like this kid, he's like, I want to, but I'm nervous. I'm like, this is going to be good for you. You'll thank me later.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of them do. They'll come back and go, I can make speeches now in my history class, and, I'm not scared to stand up and talk.
The biggest tangible skill in doing community theater that I use in everyday life is the ability to talk to people and not be or strangers and not be scared out of my wits.
Yes.
So that is something that community theater actually helped me with, and is going to help a lot of people with. Ava, you're probably just naturally talkative and stuff like that.
I definitely am.
See, I tell people all the time, it's like before I walked through the doors at the theater, I was terribly shy.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I still am in certain situations, but I was notorious for sort of like standing in the background and sort of watching what's going on before I even put a foot in. And now I'm a little more outgoing than I was, but I still have my moments. But yeah, it helped a lot for me. Otherwise, I'd still be sitting at home doing nothing.
Awesome.
I think it helps a lot of people. I was incredibly shy when I was a kid. I was always the one in the classroom. I would never raise my hand, hoping the teacher would not call on me. Even though I knew the answers, I was like, don't call on me, don't call on me. I don't want to speak in front of everybody.
Right. And do the whole, don't make eye contact so they don't actually, know that you're there. It's like,
I was like the opposite of that. I was like, please.
Were you the goody two-shoes?
No. I got in trouble a lot. But I was.
All right, tell me one thing you can say on the podcast that you got in trouble in school.
I mooned the football team when I was a senior in high school, when I got kicked out the cheerleading school.
Nice.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
What's the context? What was it, a dare?
It was a dare. We were on the bus going to actually Clayton, and here's the funny part about that story. This Rich and I, when we got married, Rich is my second husband, and I knew who his dad was the coach at Clayton for years and years and years. Everybody knew him, and when I met him, he introduced me to his parents. He said, "You remember that year that there was that Triple S was going to Clayton and the girl mooned the football team?" And he was like, "Oh, I remember that." And he's like, "There she is." That was the first time I met his dad.
But I do have one question.
Yeah.
How did they know it was you? Did they have a lineup? Bring him in. That's the one, number 4. Number 4. That's the one.
If you knew me in high school, I would have been the one that would have done
that
it.
is Kathi
Yep.
Nixon. I know that is plain as day.
Kathy Hinton.
Kathy, excuse me.
Hinton.
Sorry.
Yep.
That's funny. Come on, Larry. You got a nefarious story in there that you can tell on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
Come on, give us one.
He has many.
We got time. Give us one. You're next, Ava. I'm just
I
kidding.
was the quiet rebel in high school. My mother was very well known around town, and I went through that period where I got tired of being Verna Gray's son. So the thing I did was I was the very first streaker in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
Let's go.
All right, now, did you keep your tennis shoes on?
I did keep my tennis
That's how
shoes
you do
on.
it.
And as my friend drove by, I dove through the window into the back of the car, and we took off.
Wow, brave.
always have an exit strategy.
All right, Larry, give me your theater hot takes. Give me your musical, because you were a critic. You were okay. I got one for you. You
Okay.
went to go see what was it? Kinky Boots at
Yes,
RLT. How'd you like it?
Oh, I enjoyed it very much.
Was that your first RLT experience?
That was my first RLT experience,
Go-
and I had heard all the music from Kinky Boots, but I had never actually seen the show. So it was just a great experience.
I love Kinky. I didn't see it at RLT, but I have
Their
seen.
tickets are too expensive. Nah,
I've seen it
that's
at. I saw it at DPAC when the touring group came through, and it's one of the few musicals that Stephen actually really enjoyed. So,
That says
Steven's
a
a
lot.
big fan of Kiki Boots, huh?
it's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of really great songs in it. And it's
There's a
really
lot of
upbeat.
great music in it. The acting that was tremendous. I loved the story.
Oh yeah.
Well, briefly tell us the story.
Well, it really is about this young man who grows up. He's expected to be his father's son and do what his father did because they have always made shoes. He will make shoes. This is not his interest. And he's different. He is not what... There's a song, I Am Not My Father's Son.
Which is beautiful, by the way.
Absolutely beautiful song. And how do we adapt in a world where we are not what we are expected to be? And I know that story. That story spoke to me.
It's about reaching out past expectations. Like you're
Yes.
sort of pigeonholed from your parents and feeding you into something, and you're supposed to be this person, but in fact you don't fit that mold, that shoe, basically, and you have to be yourself because the other character is a drag queen,
Yes.
and she had to fight against her father in order to become Lola. Is it Lola?
Lola, yeah.
And so it's just because when she was a boy, he was going to be a boxer and was forced to be a boxer. And then he found that he was much more comfortable in high heel shoes and dresses, which his father disowned him for. And so it's just these two parallel things. Yeah.
It's really two parallel journeys and how they help each other. And it's an incredible show.
If I was like, all right, Munchkins, all right, listen up. All right, after the hurricane,
The hurricane.
the twister.
Tornado.
I called it a hurricane like 2 or 3 times.
Have
was
I?
Like, yes,
You
I
have,
just been
yeah.
like,
And you just have been like kind of nodding and like, oh.
I couldn't do it. You paused it. I was like,
This
we
poor-
can't be doing the Wizard of Oz and be like, when the hurricane happens.
This poor man doesn't know it's a twister. So yeah, when the hurricane happens, you know, like the big wind. All right, you guys are dead. Also, so you got to like lay down. All right, and all these Munchkins over here are going to be dead too. So like, but at the end, you kind of like rise up from the dead. But I'm gonna need you guys to have like these little contacts and to have you have fake eyes so you look like a ghost. Okay. All right, and go.
You know the tornado doesn't happen in Munchkin Land, right?
It grows into Munchkin Land, right?
It blows the house.
It blows the house into Munchkin Land.
Right. So it happens like
But-
right before.
It just sort of like throws it in the air and it falls into Munchkin Land.
And you're telling me that a couple of Munchkins don't die
Well,
when
the
the
witch
house lands
does.
on?
The witch dies, not the Munchkin.
It was
But
it's a very
I'm saying, Larry, we want to.
targeted drone strike.
Are you glad you spent one of your few nights off on this, Larry?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, this is probably had been the most interaction I have had with any of the cast members since we started rehearsals.
No, that's why we can't delve deep into the production because I'm like, well, you guys haven't done a whole lot.
No.
So, what were you about to say, Mita?
No, I was going to say one of the things back when we did it in 1999, yes, it was that long ago. I just remember Nancy Gibbs, who played Glinda when we did it the first time, her response when we got over to the college, because they had like one rehearsal going on at a dance studio, one rehearsal at the high school at Triple S, and one rehearsal here going on all the time, because you can kind of put people, because you've got the Munchkins and they're sort of self-contained, and then you've got the trio and Dorothy, and then you've got, So you can kind of divvy them up and have dance rehearsals going on one time, music going on, that sort of stuff, and you can kind of do it all that way. That's the way Ruth did it. And when they got over to the college, Nancy's response was, "Oh, thank God, adults." Because Glenda works with munchkins most of the time.
Yeah.
She's like, I had not seen another adult human being until I got to the college. She says, I was so happy to see adults.
Yeah. People should come to this show just to watch me ride a bike on stage in a long dress. That's what, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Because I'm
Watch
clumsy as
Kathy
hell. So
eat
I don't know. It's going to be...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like
No
that
wonder
video you
she's so
showed me.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
What video?
Larry showed me a video of a woman in like a lift harness system playing Glinda, and it broke and she fell like from high in the air. He was like, "Let me show you something funny." I was like,
This is why we don't fly.
fingers crossed.
Anything you want to mention before we close it out?
Come try out for Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yes. Oh, I do have
Yes.
the dates for auditions are September 30th and October 1st. So that's a Monday and a Tuesday, right after
Right
The Wizard
after.
of
I'll
Oz.
probably
Right
still be
after
green.
Wiz-
Follow at Neuse Little Theater on Instagram and Facebook.
You've been doing a great job with that. There's been a lot of content for Wizard of Oz so far. Keep up the good work, Ava,
Thanks.
our social media czar.
Official title.
Yep. I
Ava is our student representative to the board, and she was very gracious and excited about taking over the social media stuff because I don't. I mean, I do a little bit here and there, but I don't think that way. So it's over before I go, oh yeah, I probably should have filmed that.
I just want to say, Larry and I, this is our second play together, and in neither play do we even say one word to each other. So at some point, we're going to do a play where we interact, right?
Where we actually get to talk
Where
to
we
each other
actually
on
talk to
stage.
each other on stage.
Yes. Oh, I would just say come see this show, for one. Get your tickets now. I'm excited to do this show because this is one of the first movie musicals I ever saw as a kid. By 8, I had the entire movie, all the lines, all the music memorized, and would walk through the fields of the farm singing every song in the show, which should have told me something back then, but little did I know. But it is one of my favorite shows of all
Larry's
time.
dressing up like Glinda again, honey. It's fine. It's fine.
I came to auditions. I wanted to be Dorothy, but they said no.
No, I directed this show at Clayton High School. It was one of my first, maybe my third year teaching. I took it on and we did it. And I mean, it was, I can't even, I'm not going to say on this podcast how I did the script or anything like that because it was really bootlegged. But we caught the Yellow Brick Road on fire during the show. Yeah.
better start moving down the road,
And then the
yeah.
Tin Man ran to go put it out, and the Tin Man's all painted, and I ran out on the stage, and I was like, no, not you, not you.
He
It
just
was,
catches it.
It's like the reverse the scarecrow, you know?
yeah. It was
It's the metal is fusing to my skin.
The only one worse equipped to put out the fire would be the scarecrow.
Yeah.
It goes up like kindling.
Use Excelsior, so he just goes up in a giant fireball.
It was the pine straw that made him catch so quickly. Again, thank you, Kathy, for the music. We're going to use it for every episode from here on out.
Yay.
And it'll be at the top of the show and at the end of the show. And your music will be featured in some future, way down the line videos we're doing on the history of the show. I had talked about some videos and that I want to do about a little documentaries about the history of Neuse, which is kind of like an extension of the podcast almost. And I did a trailer for that, and that almost killed me, and we got it in just under the wire. So I decided after that I would reflect and be realistic. Like, yes, you will see videos, just not quite as soon as I thought. Because guess what? It takes a lot of time.
If you'd like to see it, it is on our website.
Yes. Along with every episode of the podcast, we're in our 70s. Episode 100's coming up.
wow.
Don't worry, we're halfway there, Mita. Yes. Yes, if you go back, we were into this is 70-something, 77, 78, something like that.
Wow.
So our
I don't
100th
know.
episode will...
I only know how many we've done when I go and upload it, because then it tells me what the last one was.
If you look on Apple Podcasts, they do have it numbered. For some reason, they don't have it numbered on Spotify. But yes, you can scroll down and see how many episodes we have. And you can find the whole history of news people, some of which are no longer with us. You can hear them interviewed, and they can tell their stories on the podcast.
So for those of you who weren't here at the beginning, you can go and listen to Darius and Teresa and Joyce and Reggie and all of them talk about the beginnings of the theater and sort of where it came from. And that was the whole premise of it, is to get those sort of early stories back before there were photos and social media. And you could do crazy stuff and not get busted. Those stories are on there too, a little
Cool.
bit.
I did want to say one thing I didn't get to say. So I had to ask all the powers that be, but everybody's agreed. So actually, after I direct Arsenic and Old Lace, my kids in my class are going to come and do the show that they've been practicing at school here.
Okay, that's cool.
So during, like, you know, when we're dark.
What
here,
show is that?
The Mousetrap.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So they're going to be practicing that at school, but they're going to perform it 2 nights here in December.
Interesting.
Yeah. We're going to use the same set. We'll probably have to dress it differently, but
Gotcha. That's cool.
I
Well,
know.
I look forward to that.
I know I've done it twice here with students, and they really, my auditorium seats 660, so it's always, you know,
Sparse.
looks like they don't have, so they'll fill it. They'll be excited.
Cool.
Yeah.
And whenever they come, they get super excited because it's a real theater.
And they get to go downstairs and get
Yes.
ready.
You're
And
like
yeah.
a better stage than you do.
Look where the stars dwell,
They
son.
think it's cool.
All right.
So, you know, for Christmas, come see Mousetrap
Yeah.
by
Yes.
the high schools.
Yeah.
Yes. We are going to close it out there, folks. I know you've enjoyed me listening and asking them questions and saying, I know you guys love that. But
What questions were
I
you
know.
like?
When you say that, then you start saying, oh.
I know.
I know.
I know. I know. It's something, honestly, it is something I have to work on as a podcast host. Believe it or not, I'm not perfect. Okay.
Believe it.
We're going to close it out here. And we were going to have this episode go up. It'll go up September 20th, a week before the show opens, roughly. And we hope you listen to it, and we hope you go see Wizard of Oz. Any final words before we send it off?
Shout out Miss Patsy, our
Yes.
choreographer. I've loved being dance captain with her, and she really does so much good stuff for our show.
All right, Larry?
Yeah, and shout out to Sean. It is amazing to watch him direct the kids. Not a job I think I would be good at, because children and animals. I kind of agree with W.C. Fields along those
Yeah.
lines. But it's an amazing show, and the kids, particularly the little girl who plays Toto,
Toto, I knew you
are
were gonna
going
say
to
it.
be amazing.
She's so cute. Shout out to Stephanie, because I know she's working really hard on costumes and stuff, and she always does. So just thanks to her.
Oh, and Todd, music.
And Todd.
Our music director, or their music director, Todd Johnson. Thank you to Mita for coming here, giving up her Wednesday evening so she could come and listen to us ramble.
Yep.
And don't worry, folks. We'll have more Neuse Little Podcast content coming, especially for our big 50th season. Probably won't do 2 parts like this one for every show, but we'll definitely get the cast and crews of the next shows in here, because we have a lot of stuff to cover in our historic 50th season.
It is going to be a very, because it was voted on by our membership, I have a feeling we're going to be very full for most of the season. Most shows will probably sell out. So if you are a season member, you would like to be a season member, by all means, you can buy your season membership or whatever, your level you want to be at on our website. You can go and do that. And if you do it online, you actually can go in and get first dibs on when you want to come, because your tickets are available as season members when they won't be open for public sale until about a month before the show opens. So you guys get a first chance at them, but if you wait until the last minute, I can't promise even with a season ticket you'll be able to get in. So, and if you want tickets to Wizard of Oz, they will honor our membership, but you do have to go through the college for that ticket, because they have assigned seats and they're handling the box office.
All right. Thank you, Mita. All right, for Neuse Little Podcast, I'm Matt Gore, and as you heard, that is Mita Toole. We will talk to you later. Thanks, guys.